I'm Jeff Schwartz of Schwartz Performance. Let me tell you a bit about myself and our company. I spent the first 26 years of my career manufacturing parts for the big automakers. I implemented various quality systems and I was responsible for manufacturing. In my spare time, I road raced whenever I could. I had a SCCA national license, an FIA international license, and an IMSA license. I set 5 national track records in SCCA. This road racing experience gives me an edge when it comes to developing a chassis that gives the ride quality of a German luxury car, yet the handling of a sports car. We were the first to introduce a bolt-in muscle car chassis with our GM A-body chassis. That application fit Chevelles, GTOs, Skylarks, etc. We were also the first to introduce a full-frame bolt-in for unibody cars with our Mustang and first-gen Camaro offerings. We now have chassis models for 20 different models of muscle cars, and that's growing every day. We recently introduced a Tri-5 Chevy chassis, a 68 to 74 Chevy Nova chassis, a 70 to 74 Cuda chassis, which also is a Challenger Dodge. They do have slightly different wheelbases, but we have applications for both. Our latest offering is the GM G-body chassis, which is 78 to 87 Monte Carlos, Buick Grand Nationals, Cutlasses, Grand Prix, etc. Our chassis have numerous design features that give us an edge in handling and ride quality. Our upper control arms have needle bearings with grease fittings in them, and that allows smooth bind-free operation. And our rear suspension linkage has Teflon-lined spherical rod ends that allow bind-free operation and give ride quality of an independent type rear suspension. To assure quality, we manufacture our chassis in-house, as well as we manufacture our suspension links and spindles, steering arms, etc. in-house. We feel using components from production cars is a compromise. We want our cars to outhandle modern sports cars. When developing a chassis for a performance application, there's a lot of things to consider, one of which is weight and rigidity. Ideally, you'd like as light as possible of a chassis with the maximum rigidity. In this case, we have a G-body GM chassis, Monte Carlo, Buick Regal T-Type, Cutlass, etc. And this is our new replacement chassis for the G-bodies. And this model here is the original chassis from a G-body. This one is a very rust-free, solid chassis. It's just a little dirty from driving down dirt roads. However, you can see the rigidity when I put my foot on here, how it flexes. When I push down here, the rear end is rotating in an opposite direction with just a slight amount of force. When you put high horsepower in a chassis like that, even though this is bolted to the body and that adds some rigidity, it's going to twist on you. These cars had 180 horsepower maximum from the factory, so if you put even a 400 horsepower engine in there, you could have some problems. Incidentally, the Chevelle chassis is kind of a similar setup, basically. When you go over to our chassis and you push on it, there is a tiny bit of flex, but not near what you see there. We weighed both of these, and with the same wheels on both chassis, our replacement chassis is 125 pounds lighter than the factory G-body chassis. And in the case of the Chevelle and the GM A-bodies, it's the same thing. It's 120 pounds lighter. The stock chassis has 300% more torsional flex than our replacement Schwartz Performance G-body chassis. On a Chevelle, there's about 200% more torsional flex on a stock chassis versus our replacement chassis. If you jack our car up ahead of the rear wheel, it will actually pivot on the opposite front wheel. The chassis is so stiff in torsional rigidity that it doesn't twist. If you do that on a stock chassis, all 3 tires will be on the ground except for the one that you're jacking off the ground. As you can see, a stock chassis doesn't work nearly as well as ours does. Nearly every weekend we take our shop cars out and run them around autocross and road course events to continually improve our product and refine things. Whether you choose our Ford 9-inch rear end or independent rear suspension, you'll achieve the same results in superior sports car-like handling with your muscle car. As you can see, the stock chassis doesn't work very well, and there's a lot more body roll. One of the things we did this year to help our customers, we implemented a contingency program, which basically we're sponsoring all of our customers when they compete in pro touring events or Good Guys Autocross Challenge. For more information about our products, visit our website at schwartzperformance.com or give us a call at 815-206-2230.